Greetings everyone, Lumberg here, and I'm back again by popular request on the new feature that just came out a couple of hours ago. This video is going to cover everything that I could think of as a first look at warplanes. That being said, this is, based on quick analysis. Please, take it with a grain of salt, as always, but I will try to do my best to disseminate information and give my thoughts. In this video, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to understand the basics of the warplanes. We're going to talk about deployment and navigation and swapping warplanes. We're going to talk about the items that are used, how they're similar to Titans. We're going to demonstrate the dodge skill in battle. We're going to look at some of the evolution of the warplanes and the skills overview. We're going to cover which one of these potential skills are game-changing, and then we'll just talk about what this does to Titans, the development of the game, does it delay C40, and then finally we're going to do a cost of pack analysis. So let's dive in. When you log in, the first thing you're going to see, and this is a farm that I'm demonstrating it, is that there's no choice. You have to go to this new building, which is the Warplane Research Facility, and you just have to kind of watch the video. We're going to skip that. You have to kind of go through this and then unlock it. There's no way you can get out of this. So you have to do the first upgrade. You don't have to do a modified. There is an item included, so just kind of go through it, hit the one tap upgrade, and that's it. So everybody will have to do that. It'll make you go through this. There's no way to come out of it. If you did want to do it later and you wanted to watch the video or something else or talk to somebody, you can exit out of the game, but every time you come back into the game, it will force you to do this tutorial. All right, so once you do that, this is in a farm. You can see here right at the bottom that there is many more planes that you can unlock, up to 5. And, level 18 opens the first one, 21 the second, 24 the third, 27 the fourth, and then finally 30th the fifth. So most of you that are above 30th, you'll see an option to actually unlock all of these at the same time. So let's go ahead and switch to my account where I can demonstrate the rest of this video, but I did want to show kind of what it looks like when you first enter in, and there's nothing lost by doing the tutorial. You can do the tutorial. You will not understand it in the first time, but that's okay. So if you come back to the building, here you can see, as I was saying, there is unlock feature, so you can definitely unlock the additional planes, because I am level 35, so there's no reason why I can't unlock it. So what does that mean? So, first thing you really want to do is look at this question mark here at the top right corner, and then read these. This is really important. There's some useful information here. Read it. It'll tell you that you can have up to 5 warplanes. You can deploy them simultaneously in the 5 different fleets, but there's a big but. That doesn't mean that you want to spend all of your items on the different warplanes. Just think about how you fight Void, how you have Titans. You're most likely going to be able to get the best by upgrading one of your warplanes and not all 5 of them together. Now you can use them and deploy them in fleets, but really focus. Tip number 1 is upgrading just one. Later on, as the game develops, you can maybe, if you're using multiple fleets, but, usually most of us attack with Titans and our most powerful troops, and that makes sense to have just the one warplane. Next, we will cover deploying your warplane, navigation, and swapping warplanes. If you just go out and try to attack, let's say, a zombie, and we can demonstrate it here. You can see this is where the warplane shows up. As we saw, we unlocked 5 of them. If you want to swap it, you just have to hit this little toggle button here in the corner, and then you can see all 5 of these, and you can pick the different ones that you would want to put in a fleet. It automatically selects the strongest one or the first one, and then on defense, it actually automatically deploys the strongest one. So that's important to keep in mind. When you read the notes up in the question mark, it also does say that they don't deploy if there's less than 10,000 troops. So that's kind of important to keep in mind. That remember, when people do the Titans do deploy with just a single troop, it seems like in order for warplanes to be deployed, you do need at least 10,000 troops. One important thing and difference between when Titans can be deployed and when the warplane can be deployed is you need at least 15 50% of your fleet size. So you can see here my fleet size is 226, 320. So exactly 50% of that will be 113, 160. And you can see, okay, Titans get deployed, I think, at 30%. So they're deployed, but even at exactly 50%, it isn't. So 50% plus one troop. And then now you can see suddenly it does deploy. So it does need a high number of troops to be deployed, at least 50% of your fleet size. And so that's the quick navigation of those. One more thing to cover is, the source of the item. So obviously you can get it in packs. But one really important thing that is a free item is that if you go into your ruins and hit explore, you will see that there is a new one, a fourth one that got included here, which is the industrial recovery. And here you can see that you can get these items. So this is a must to do daily. So we're going to go ahead and do one. And as you can see that, initially it's just like starting off in a new city. You have to get a couple of days in twice a day to get to this final level. And then you can get some good rewards of these evolution and upgrade items. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. One more area of getting it is actually could be dinos. Yes, believe it or not, dinos may finally be worth something. So because dinos were launched yesterday, some people already finished dinos, and it would be unfair for dinos to give these rewards. It looks like what they did is gave everybody a compensation to make it fair, which I think is good. And if you had dinos left over, which I did because I hate doing dinos, they're terrible rewards, and finally they will actually be worth doing. So I believe the future dinos will include some of the warplane upgrade items. However, if you didn't do your dinos yesterday and you try to do them now, I think a bunch of us in our alliance tried to do it and nobody got dino items. So it's safe to say that starting next week or whenever dinos do come in, then you will start getting these items. So those are your free sources. And then of course you can get it from packs. Next, let's go into how the warplane works. One more thing I wanted to show is if you go into my info and look at strength analysis, you will see now, whoa, I was doing pretty good. Now everybody will make you look weak. Do not pay attention to this. This does not mean that you really are weak. This is arbitrary. They want you to. This is a garbage screen anyways, but you can clearly see that, there's a lot of area to grow and basically spend in this sequence here of warplanes, right? So not to be dissuaded or even look at the screen, but I did want to point out that just ignore this. So let's go into looking at some of the items and similarities with Titan. So if you look at the warplane here, there is the lab feature here, which you can click, and you can quickly see that it is similar to exactly like Titans, right? So this is a skill. Laser Cannon is a skill. So this would be the equivalent of a talent, and you use items to upgrade that talent. Similar to Titans, that first one is kind of just the basic attack and the damage increase of that attack. Don't upgrade this yet. Save these for the ones that matter, right? Just because you can upgrade it and a red button shows up doesn't mean that you have to do it. If you go into your upgrade and hit modify, this is evolution. This is the most important item, right? And you can see here, there is 10 levels to go from green to green level 2. So that's kind of a bummer. So just like Titans, you evolve it, you get to like 4 evolution to get this skill, intercept system. You get 7 evolutions to get melee weakness recognition, and then 10 evolutions to get this tactical missile, right? So very similar to Titans. One key difference is that if you look in the lab, so all those skills that we just looked at, those are the same skills here. You can see the intercept system. There's the one that we saw, and then here's the tactical missile, right? So all of these, you can see that you do 10 evolutions to get to green. It's still green, right? So they called it something different. This is called, this is now called Enforcer Tier 4. And then if you look at this one, this is called Explorer Tier 4. Just call it Green 1 and Green 2. So there's 20 evolutions to reach to blue. There's 20 evolutions of blue to reach to purple, 20 evolutions of purple to reach to orange. So it's almost double the evolutions than Titans. And the concept is, remember, there was two Titans, there's just one warplane, I guess, and that's but it's going to be a pretty pricey item. So already you can see if you go back into your warplane and click modify, it uses these warplane alloys, and it uses 20 of that for this first 10 evolutions. I think I looked at somebody that actually took it to green tier 2, and there is a screenshot that takes it from 20 to 50. So from green 1 to green 2, it takes 50. So that's 200, 20 times 10, and then 50 times 10 to get to blue. Getting to blue is going to be important, and we can look at that. So you can see quickly that this is very similar to Titans in that there's evolution items, there is talent or these skills upgrade items. So these are the skill cost. And then just like Titans, there's level of the plane. So you can upgrade your plane cost by using the, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess I just did. So I just leveled it up using these XP items. So very similar to Titans in cost, in functionality. And let's look at one of the innate skills of this. You can see here, when you look at the stats of this, there is a dodge melee attack for 100. I don't know how to keep that on. Sorry about that. And then so it has, so that means it dodges all of melee attacks. So we tried to test it. I tried to fail and did a couple of SOS and many days of heals, but here finally Shaw was able to demonstrate it after my failed attempts. And we're going to watch this battle. What this means is that melee troops cannot affect the plane, the warplane at all. So you can see here that it's just going to go through this miss infinite loop. I think we let it run for about 3, 4, 5 minutes and nothing happened. So you can see that it's a pretty cool skill and it does work. However, the reason why it took us so many times to demonstrate this is that we had to unequip heroes that does damage, like I Medici that drops the bombs, Tifa drops the planes, Zeus drops the rockets. So you have to unequip those heroes that does damage that would kind of kill this plane other than your melee troops. So here, this could last all day. You can see it's still going. It's been 3 minutes. So we finally just did retreat because you can see that at early levels, just like early Titans, it's very ineffective in terms of the damage. It's barely doing any damage here. Now, mind you, that is a farm versus a main. So there is that. And then finally, there was a retreat. So the battle ended at about 3.5 minutes, but it could have gone on forever. It doesn't look like there's a kick out screen of that battle, but it is a pretty cool demonstration of that skill. Let's look at some of the other skills here and see, is this a game changer or not? So if you go into your lab tab, there's two skills, and mind you, I haven't had that much time to look at these and obviously no testing done. So it's hard to really comment and conclude, with a lot of confidence as to the impact of this. But just by looking at this is a game changer. So mechanical golem. This is, if you watch the video, it kind of shows a plane deploying a troop that kind of gets into the battlefield and hits that Mother of Doom-like monster. This one is going to be really, really important for, adding front row. So you can see that if every 10 seconds it adds 3,000 golems, we don't know the strength of them yet, and they survive up to 9 seconds. So that means you can't just keep on building up your front row, but you kind of have this constant refresh. And if you have enough shield and other items your Titan buffs, this might be a nice way to kind of regenerate that front row and make monsters absolutely unstoppable. Just imagine this skill in Triangle War or DoD, right? I mean, the only way to beat some of those monsters was when you took out their front row, but with this skill, they'll just regenerate. So this is a game changer. A lot of the other skills you'll notice is a lot focused on Titans, right? So they reduce damage to Titans, they increase damage to Titans. So this was designed by Camel pretty smartly as an anti-Titan one, right? So if we really think about the economics of the game and the basics of it, Camel experienced huge success with the Titans. People maxed it out. They were very expensive items. They were game changers. If you didn't have, you could beat people with stronger Titans that had you could beat people if you had stronger Titans and they had much better stats, right? So Titans are a multiplying factor, and that's the same here. Another skill that's going to be very impactful is this EMP disruptor ammo, right? So think about all the things that Titan skills. So this is not that it. This one basically is like a silence, right? It's silence the special skills. So any type of shredder shielding itself, tank shielding itself, snipers doing their mega attack, all of these Titans doing their attack. This is going to be a important skill. So already you can see that at blue, this skill, mechanical golem, and this EMP disruptor ammo is going to be pretty game changing. Now, of course, there is all kinds of fancy skills here. There's all kinds of stat increases, just like the Titans. So it's, in other words, they took the model that was successful with Titans, added in some pretty neat kind of I will say these are pretty interesting and well thought out kind of counterbalancing skills of Titans, and they did put in some effort into designing these skills. That being said, it is definitely going to be a feature that helps them continue revenue without having to release C40. So I think that is a big factor, and this may delay C40, just because this will give the big players something to do, something to play with, and then even in battle, you're gonna be able to use these in different ways, and so it's gonna keep us busy for a while, right? So. And in some ways, that's probably not bad, right? Because C40 would probably be the destruction of a lot of players' kind of psyche and just interest in terms of being able to keep up. So, is this the new Titan? I'd say no, but it's definitely an anti-Titan and equivalent and has the potential to be there. But before you go out and buy the packs, right? So, if you go into Modify and you say, okay, where can I get more of these? You can get it in Explore City. They don't say T-Rex here, so I'm not 100% sure that we would get it in T-Rex. But if you go into Purchase Pack, you can see all of these packs here, right? And these are the packs. Remember, anything that's here is usually going to be a worse deal. So before we did that, I think if you come back into your city and log back in, after it takes you directly to that Warplane facility, it does give you this, the bonus event here. Right, so the benefits card, this is probably the best deal. If you are buying something, you probably ought to get this one. And I have a pack analysis. So let's take a look. Whoops, I think it's in photos. Here is my pack analysis. So this is the 7-day benefits card, you can see, is the best deal here. So for $4.99, you're getting 15 Warplane alloys, as well as 2. So this is it's really important. Why I put these in green highlight is that the main item that you should be focused, if you are spending. So first of all, my request is going to be hold off on the spending. Let this thing prove itself out before you go crazy on it. And then remember, these are the worst valued packs. Just look at this. Look at the cost analysis here. The highest pack is 2 times worse of a deal than the cheapest one, right? So keep that in mind. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but and I'll show this in a second, but you can see here that the cost of the modification items is the same as the skill upgrade. In terms of if you are going to spend it, you spend on the modifying item. That's the only thing that really matters now. You're going to probably get these over time, but modifying and getting that skill unlocked is the most important thing. Getting that level up is probably more expensive than it's worth. And skills, don't spend on skills on the early levels. Wait until you get that mechanical golem and then level that guy up. So in terms of a pack analysis, the request is probably, or the urge is to, just wait. There's going to be, these packs are going to be available in daily, monthly, weekly, in a better deal, pretty soon enough. So just kind of hang in there. One more thing I'm going to point out is that if you look at this kind of the event page, there's a quest bingo coming out. It starts in 14 hours. Usually the quest bingo has like buying a pack or something. Wait, hang on to those 14 hours, and then maybe you can double dip on buying that pack. So don't buy anything. Maybe it's too late. I tried to get this video out, but maybe it's still too late. Hold off on that spending. You're going to spend far too much. You're going to outspend it, and you're going to regret it in a second. Had you just wait. I think that is my quick analysis. Overall summarizing thoughts is that it looks to be a pretty cool feature. It is definitely going to be a moneymaker for Camel. Pace yourself. It does have some pretty cool features, some pretty cool anti-Titan features. Don't try to get there all in at once, and don't spend far too much until it's tested. It needs to be tested in battle before we can really say that it's going to be effective. All of my theories are just that. They're theories. So until we actually test it out in battle, it's still too early to tell. Finally, last thing, in the pack analysis, if you look at permit exchange and you look at the event items, this one for $299 to get 180 permits may not be a bad deal as long as there's enough items here for the alloy to reach that 200 and exchange them. So I don't know exactly how many are here, but that may not be a bad deal. If you don't have enough there, this is probably the second best thing to get the Warplane components. This will come over time, so try not to get that. This is the main one that you really have to kind of focus on buying to get it evolved. But keep your spending in check, guys. Hopefully this is helpful. Please feel free to let me know if I've missed something or correct something, or if there's any other questions that you have. This is, again, a very quick look at it. We will learn and learn more and create more content.